Time is 12 o'clock. Here is the midday news. First, the top stories. Amosun gives Ogun's new council chairman low mark on performance. Death toll from gunman attack on Anambra Church rises to 11. Obasanjo falls Senate pegging of presidential aspirants. Former Governor Daniel cautions Fayose on comments on Buhari's health. In foreign, Venezuela troops hunt for rebels after clashes at army base, and North Korea rejects peace talks offer from South amidst fresh UN sanctions. Good afternoon. I am Chienye bringing you the news and details shortly. Governor Ibikunle Amosun has expressed displeasure over the performance of local government chairmen and the local council development area's counterparts since assuming office in October last year. The governor expressed his concern at a meeting with the chairman, the vice chairman, and secretaries of the 20 local governments and 37 LCDs at the Obas complex to Kemoso in Abeokuta. Amoso was worried over their low revenue generation drive while asking them to be prudent with the revenue generated in their councils. The governor, who also raised concern over the low supervision by the chairman on the road projects that are being constructed in their areas, asked them to be alive to their responsibilities. He asked them to stop relying too much on the dwindling federal allocation. They should think out of the box and improve on their revenue generation if they must meet up with their responsibilities at the grassroots. Ogun State government has begun the registration of children into Primary 1 for the 2017-2018 academic session under the Universal Basic Education. Education, Science and Technology Commissioner Mrs. Modupe Mujota, in a release, asked parents and guardians to visit the public primary schools nearest to their homes to register their children and wards free of charge. The commissioner explains that only children who had attained the age of 6 were eligible for enrollment in the ongoing exercise across the state. Also, admission of pupils by transfer into the state's public schools will begin today. Parents and guardians wishing to participate in the exercise had been asked to obtain forms from all the zonal education offices that were nearest to them. Appropriate forms, complete the process and send them for approval. Death toll from gunman attack on a Catholic church during an early morning mass in Anambra State on Sunday has risen to 11. The State Police Commissioner, Umar Garba, gave an update on the incident, which left 18 others critically injured at a news conference in Awka, the state capital. The police chief says some suspects had been invited by the police in connection with the tragic incident. He clarifies that the attack was carried out by a lone gunman and not gunmen as it's been reported. The gunman who invaded the service at St. Philip's Catholic Church, Ozubulu, at 5:45 a.m. The gunman wore black attire after invading the church while the mass was on, moved to a section of the congregation and opened fire on them. After killing his targets and others in the section, he shot sporadically on other worshippers in the church. The police chief says that preliminary investigations revealed that the attack was caused by a dispute between two natives of the town who were residing abroad, and quickly dismissed speculations that it was the handwork of Boko Haram sect. Meanwhile, Governor Willie Obiano had rushed to the scene of the attack, confirming that the attack was due to a dispute between two brothers in the town. During a visit to Nnamdi Azikiwe Teaching Hospital, where those injured were being treated, the governor says the state government will pick the bills. Bird strike on a plane conveying a batch of intending Hajj pilgrims has forced the aircraft to temporarily abort their flight to Saudi Arabia. The incident occurred on Saturday night when a Boeing 767 aircraft of the Medview airline carrying 222 intending pilgrims was tasking to take off on Saturday from the Ilori airport in Kwara State. After noticing the incident, the intending pilgrims disembarked from the plane while the airplane made arrangements to provide another plane to convey them to Saudi Arabia. The airline in a statement says that a team of its engineers had arrived at the airport to fix the plane to resume airlifting of pilgrims. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has faulted the Senate for tampering with the age of future aspirants for presidential posts in the country. Obasanjo, who spoke on the issue in Lagos at a forum organized by the Torchbearer Society of Archbishop Vining Memorial Church Cathedral, Ikeja, says it's wrong for the Senate to have pegged the minimum age for presidential aspirants and be silent on the maximum age. The Senate, while amending the 1999 Constitution, had reduced the age of aspirants for presidential aspirants from 40 years to 35 years. Obasanjo, however, argues that age should not be a barrier for aspirants to the presidency, adding that the focus should be on the competence and capacity of the presidential aspirants. Joint Admission Matriculation Board (JAMB) is set to release the cut-off mark for the 2017 admission of candidates into universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education for the 2017-2018 academic session, which will be released. JAMB says it has obtained approval of the Education Minister, Malam Adamu, to convene a meeting of major stakeholders, including the university's vice-chancellors, polytechnic rectors, and provosts of the colleges of education for the purpose. The policy committee meeting, according to JAMB, will hold next week. Meanwhile, JAMB says it had dispatched to universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education a soft copy of candidates who picked them and scored above 100 marks and in the last Unified Tertiary Matriculation examination. Former Governor Gbenga Daniel has cautioned Governor Ayodele Fayose against making uncomplimentary comments on the health condition of President Muhammad Buhari, who is still on medical vacation in London. The former governor told Fayose to be mindful that no human being was immune to sickness and should stop politicizing the health of the president. Daniel spoke on the issue in Abeokuta at an interactive session with Freelance and Independent Broadcasters Association of Nigeria. The former governor explains that it is good to have the likes of Governor Fayose playing the role of opposition in a democracy to check the excesses of the government in power. He, however, faults Fayose for his comment on Buhari's health, advising that the best approach was to pray for his recovery with good health. You're still listening to the Midday News on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we'll bring you foreign, business, and sports news. Please do stay with us. A search is underway in Venezuela for 10 men who escaped with weapons after an attack on a military base. President Nicolas Maduro says the assault in the northwestern city of Valencia was carried out by 20 people. He called the incident a terrorist attack carried out by mercenaries and said the security forces were actively searching for those who had escaped. 2 were killed, 1 was injured, and 7 others were arrested. The government said that those arrested included a first lieutenant who had deserted, and it said the others were civilians wearing uniforms. There were some demonstrations of support to the uprising in Valencia, but they were dispersed with tear gas, witnesses said. In Sunday's video, a rebel leader who identified himself as Juan Caguaripano said that his group, which he calls the 41st Brigade, was taking a stand against the murderous tyranny of President Nicolas Maduro. North Korea has dismissed an offer of talks from Saudi as insincere. South Korean Foreign Minister Kang Kyung-hwa had raised the issue with her North Korean counterpart Ri Yong-ho on the sidelines of a regional forum on Sunday in the Philippines. North Korean state media later said there could be no negotiations over its controversial nuclear weapons program, while it faces threats from the US. The unanimous Security Council decision to impose sanctions also follows repeated missile tests by the North, which have escalated tensions on the peninsula. South Korean news agency Yonhap also reported that Ms. Kang as saying that Mr. Ri's rejection of the talks proposal also appeared to be connected with the new sanctions. Next is the business news. Benue State government is shopping for about 40 billion naira to clear the backlog of salaries owed civil servants on its payroll and its local government counterparts. Rock City FM gathers that state government workers are being owed 5 month salaries, while the outstanding salaries of those in local governments is 8 months. Governor Samuel Otom, speaking over the weekend, explains that his administration inherited a monthly wage, the pensions and overhead bill of 8.2 billion naira, in addition to the salaries of primary school teachers. The governor says the salaries and pensions arrears would have been cleared if his administration had been able to recover 107 billion naira allegedly looted from the state treasury by previous administration. Finally, sports news. Plateau United has maintained its stronghold at the top of the Nigeria Professional Football League table following their impressive 1-1 away draw against Kano Pillars at the Sonny Abacha Stadium, Kano. The draw meant Plateau remained in the top spot on 59 points, 3 above MFM, who is second, and Pillars are seventh on 48 points. Despite the draw, MFM holds on to the second position on 56 points, while Enyimba is fourth on 51 points. In Ijabode, Akwa United's title hopes suffered a setback as they were pipped 1-0 by Sunshine Stars. Also, El Academy Warriors suffered a setback in their quest for a continental ticket following their 1-0 away loss to Niger Tornadoes. In other matchday 33 fixtures, Remo Stars' already slim hope of avoiding the drop continued to dwindle as they lost 2-0 away to ABS. In another match, Abia Warriors recorded the only away win this weekend by defeating Nobi Stars 4-2 in Makodi, while Ifanyoba edged visiting Nasarawa United 1-0. That was the midday news, and just before we go, the major stories once again. Amosun gives Ogun new council chairman Lomac on performance. Death toll from gunman attack on Anambra Church rose to 11. Obasanjo faulted Senate's begging of presidential aspirants. And former Governor Daniel cautioned Fayose on comments on Buhari's health. While in foreign, we also told you that Venezuela troops hunt for rebels after clash at the army base, and North Korea rejected peace talks offer from South amidst fresh UN sanctions. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you for listening. I am Chienye. Good afternoon.